Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be trying out a few new products, mainly the new Natasha Denona Mini My Dream collection. They got me with this one. The neutrals, the rosy blush, you know, I couldn't resist this one. So we're going to be trying those out. And I also have the new BK Beauty and Nikki brushes. I've actually had these for a few weeks. I did get these in PR and I haven't had a chance to use them yet. I'm still trying to catch up from the month of December, but I want to use these today. So I figured we could just do a get ready with me. We'll use the new brushes. We'll try the new Natasha Denona collection, and that's what we're going to be doing today. If you are new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I hope you'll stick around and subscribe if you haven't already. In fact, I was reviewing my YouTube analytics yesterday and I figured I'd just mention this here. 40% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed. 40%. That is crazy. So if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you think you're subscribed, maybe double check and make sure that you are, because 40% is a lot. And this is like regular viewers of my channel. 40% are not subscribed, which is kind of interesting. So if you don't mind, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to be, make sure you're subscribed, and let's get into it. I have some tea right now. I still have a little bit of I don't know what's going on. I feel like not been feeling well for the entire month of December, and I'm still not 100%, but here we are. My mom got me this mug for Christmas. It's a Gilmore Girls mug. I am the biggest Gilmore Girls fan in the whole world. I think she said she got this off Amazon, but it's so cute. It has all the little Stars Hollow things on it. I love it. So let's get started with the makeup. All right, we're gonna switch it up today, I think, and do eyes first. So I'm gonna start with brows, and I'm going to use my favorite product right now, which is this. I know you're tired of me talking about it, but the brow powder from Anastasia. But I just remembered before I hit record, I do have one brow product that I want to try that I ordered. This is probably I've had for at least a month, maybe longer than that. And I kind of forgot about it, just stuck it away. And I want to try it. This is the Rare Beauty Brow Harmony brow gel. This is very hard to get your hands on. This is always out of stock on Sephora. And one day, I think I had notifications turned on Sephora, or I had put my email in to be notified when it restocked, and I got an email, so I ordered it. But that was like a month ago, or maybe more, and I still haven't tried it. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my brows first with my Anastasia brow powder, and then we'll try it out. You guys, there are so many, and this happens every single year, so this is not like a new thing, but there are so many new launches. Every single time I open Instagram, I see either Trend Mood has posted a few new products, like a sneak peek of a product, or I've been following, I think I followed this account recently, but it's Makeup on My Radar or Makeup on Your Radar. I can't remember which one it is, but they post a lot too. Sometimes they post things that I don't even see like on Trend Mood. So anyways, there's so much stuff, you guys. And after this video, I think I'm going to film another video kind of talking about my thoughts on my channel this year, kind of some changes I want to make, and just thoughts that I've had after doing YouTube for 4.5 years. Things that, I don't know, I kind of want to do differently going forward, but there's just so many things that I'm curious about. All right, so I'm using the darker shade for most of my brow, and then I'm adding the lighter shade in the inner corner, or in the front of the brow. Let me know what you've seen that has piqued your interest that's new, or maybe nothing has piqued your interest. But I feel like I've seen so many things. Oh, one thing I know I am gonna buy for sure, and I think it's coming out on the 10th, I want to say. But did you guys see the new Huda color corrector in Cherry Blossom? I'm so excited to try that out because I love that color corrector. That was my favorite from the year this year. So I can't wait to try that out. But let me know what you are excited about, if anything. I filled them in, so let's try this brow gel. I've seen nothing but really good reviews on this, so let's see. I think it's supposed to be more of a, ooh, I love how small the little wand is. I find a lot of times with eyebrow gels, for some reason they want to make wands too large, and I don't know, I find that small ones like this are the best. But I'm just gonna go through the brows with this. So it feels like kind of tacky, but not in a bad way. Feels like it's gonna hold them in place for sure. I kind of want to compare it to the Benefit 24-hour brow setter because that has been my favorite. Yeah, I like how it applied, how it felt as I was applying it. So we'll see how my brows stay in place today. But so far, so good. So I have the Nikki brushes here. So we really just have 3 eye brushes, and these 4 are more for the face. So we'll use these 3 here. And then obviously the My Dream palette. I did just prime my eyes with the Sigma eyeshadow base in Persuade. So this is the little palette. I have not swatched it as I'm filming this. I just opened it up and looked at it. But I mean, if a color story has ever spoken to me, it is this one. So many people tagged me in this on Instagram when it was released or the promo pictures were released. Because this is just, I mean, if you know me, this is very much up my alley. So let's go ahead and try it. I do not own the MIDI My Dream palette. That color story did not speak to me at all, which I've seen quite a few people saying, and I totally agree. This really does not remind me of the My Dream color story at all. To me, it's a mixture of glam and I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona. It's not pinky at all, which makes me think more of glam, but it's so neutral that it makes me think of I Need a Nude also. So I feel like it's a little bit of both of them, but it's interesting. This is supposed to be the mini My Dream. Okay, let's go into the lightest shade in the palette here, and I'm going to use the N13 from Nikki LaRose. And let's see here. I think I'm just gonna kind of put this on the lid, and then I'm also gonna bring it up into the crease. So this is just a really nice blending brush. It's kind of fluffy on the end. It's not super tapered. I guess it's a little bit tapered on the end, but it's really nice, kind of a medium-sized blender. I love this color. Such a good like one and done eyeshadow color. Okay, I would typically switch to a little bit of a smaller brush, but I'm just going to continue with the same brush and go into this shade here, which is another brown, but it's just a little bit deeper. I would say this is kind of a neutral looking brown. It's a little bit warm, a little bit cool. And I'm going to start applying this just in this very outer corner. And then just kind of feather over into that first shade that we used. So this brush, the tip of it is it's not super dense, but it's just dense enough that I could kind of keep the color right here where I placed it. But it's also fluffy enough so that you can really use the very tip of the brush and kind of feather and blend a little, you know. I have to say, I think this palette, for sure, this mini palette from Natasha Denona is the one that speaks to me the most of all of her minis. I've actually owned quite a few of them at some point, and a few of them I decluttered, mainly not for the quality at all, just because I didn't really use them. A few years ago, I had the Mini Glam, and I never found myself wanting to use that one. It was very neutral, very pretty, but I don't know, I just never really used that one much. And then I also had Mini Retro at one point. I ended up decluttering that one because I never used it. And now I have the Mini Gold, which I think has been discontinued. I don't think you can even get that little palette anymore. I know you can't get the large gold anymore. But I do have the Mini Gold, and I have the Mini Starlit. Is that what it's called? It came out earlier in 2023, the more kind of rosy pinky one. So those are the two that I have, and I love those two, but I have to say, I mean, this one speaks to me the most, because if you know me, you know how I am with neutrals. Okay, love those two colors together. I'm going to switch to the N12, which I think this is kind of meant to be a smudger brush, like for your outer corner or maybe your bottom lash line. I'm going to see if I can pick up this bronzy shade right here, which is Nurture, I think is the name of this one. I don't know how well this is going to pick up with the brush. And I'm going to place this kind of in the center of the lid and out towards that shade we just applied. Actually, it picks up fine with a brush. Sometimes these metallic shades like that don't pick up super well on a brush, so I'll use my finger, but I really want to try this brush. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more, I think, just with my finger and see if you get a lot more color with your finger. Not really. So it does a pretty good job of applying with a brush. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the middle shade, which is Passionate, I guess, this one here. And this one, I think I'm gonna use my finger. And we're gonna apply this in the inner portion of my lid and kind of drag it up to meet that middle shade. That one is so pretty too. I mean, all 5 of these shades in here are just beautiful. We're gonna use the chocolate brown in here now. So this one here, and I'm gonna use this to do a powdered wing. I'm gonna use Nikki's brush, the N11. This is much larger than what I typically use for wing liner, which is the 208 from BK Beauty. You can see here, there's a very big difference. This one is much larger. So I don't know how I'm gonna love this for this step, but I do want to try it because I've seen, this is what she uses for wings. I've seen her do it on her Instagram and in her videos, so we'll try it. Usually start with the wing, but this time I'm just going to kind of stamp along my lash line, like the outer half, because I don't ever really bring my winged liner all the way in. I don't love that on my eye shape. And then I've seen her just kind of lay it down and stamp it. Which, that does work, but it's a little too, I don't like a chunky looking wing. I like kind of a small, more crisp looking wing. So I don't love that. That's why I love the 208 from BK Beauty, because this one is just really, really large for that. Yeah, I don't love that. Let me actually try to kind of buff that wing a little bit on that corner, and then I'm gonna fix it with my 208. I like a really small, precise looking wing. I don't know, I just don't like large wings, or I call them chunky wings. I don't really know what else to call them, but just when the shadow looks like thicker on the wing, I don't know, I just don't like that on me. And then I'm gonna go in with my trusty 208 because this is perfect. If you like the kind of wings that I like, which are much smaller and tinier, this is the brush. I've said it like 5 billion times at this point, but I mean, it's perfection. It's perfection. You can make a very, very small little delicate wing so easily with this brush. So honestly, I could probably use this brush like I used it here along the lash line, like to stamp the liner down, but then when I get to the wing, I would probably switch to the smaller one because I have very hooded eyes and I just like a smaller wing. But you can use this one to like stamp the liner or stamp the shadow. I did also hear Nikki say on her live yesterday, if you don't know, Nikki LaRose goes live every Sunday at, I think it's 10:30 West Coast time. So here in North Carolina, that's 1:30 p.m. for me. So if you haven't tuned into one of her lives, I highly recommend that you do. I love watching them. But anyways, she was saying in her live yesterday that I think her brushes are going to be available for individual purchase starting, I want to say she said the 18th of January. So if you want one of her brushes and not the whole set, that should be coming in the next few weeks. Okay, let's move on to the face. I'm going to use something I have sitting here, which is the Shiseido primer. This is the Synchro Skin Soft Blurring Primer. I put this in my everyday makeup drawer this month, so I want to use it. And I'm just going to apply it kind of lightly all over. This is a pretty new product to me, and I'm going to use her in 17. So this brush, you have different fibers on each side. So this side that has the lighter fibers, this is for liquids, and the darker one is for powder, I think. So I'm going to use the lighter side to apply this. This is a very unique brush. I've never tried anything like this before, but I think I'm going to use this also for a foundation because I'm curious and I see her use it a lot for foundation as well. Applying a little bit of corrector under my eyes. This one is the Clinique Even Better. And just blending that in with the Rare Beauty concealer brush. All right, let's move on to foundation. I'm going to use one of my new absolute favorites from Yensa. This is the Skin on Skin BC foundation with SPF 40. I'm going to get some on the back of my hand. I wear the shade Light Neutral in this, and it's a pretty spot on shade match. Which kudos to Yensa for actually making a foundation that claims to be a neutral undertone, and it is in fact a neutral undertone. I feel like that is becoming more and more an issue with brands coming out with these things and saying that they're neutral and they're not. I don't know. It must be really hard to formulate a neutral undertone. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to use the same brush from Nikki, and I'm going to use that same side we used for the primer for the foundation. So this brush is kind of flat and thin, which is very different for me. That's not typically what I go for. I love my 106 from BK Beauty, which is more of like a round dome-shaped brush. So this one you have to do a little bit more of like a, I was gonna say a dragging motion, but not really dragging. It's just more of like a stippling motion if you want to like build coverage at all. But I've also seen that the way these brushes are marketed is really you can use them for so many different things. So it's kind of, I think what their slogan for these is be your own artist. So you can kind of decide what you like to use each brush for, which I like. Because these are very different. All of these shapes, for the most part, are very different from like a traditional makeup brush that you see a lot, and they're very different from the other shapes that BK Beauty has. So I'm excited to try this in a bunch of different ways. All right, so I have a little bit of the foundation left on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna try building this up with this brush and see what happens. This is just very different than what I typically use for foundation. Let's move on to concealer. I'm actually going to use the Gucci concealer today in the shade 21N. This is a nice concealer. It's very, very thin and lightweight, but it's very nice. I am going to use the N16 brush from Nikki. This is her concealer brush, so it's kind of looks like a stippling brush, like on the tip here. It's a really good size for concealer. I've never seen the tip of a concealer brush look quite like this. It's not super dense, it's very fluffy. If you've seen like a traditional stippling brush, usually they're larger for like powder or blush or bronzer. That's what this brush looks like. It's just a little baby version of it. It's like not dense at all, but you still get a lot of coverage from it. I'm going back to the N17 now, and I'm just gonna add, or I'm gonna tap this concealer in that I added here. That Gucci concealer is actually a very good shade match for me. It's shade 21N. All right, I'm gonna set my face with my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder, and I'm using the N15. So this, I think they call this a multitasking brush, maybe. Let me see what they say. Okay, precision medium powder. So assuming you could use this for any powder product, any blush, bronzer, setting powder. It's a good size. It's not like too large. If you're using it for setting powder, I find that can happen a lot. Sometimes it's hard to find a really good setting powder brush. I'm going to use the same brush for bronzer, and I'm using the Sigma bronzer in the shade Light. I really like actually this shape for bronzer because again, it's not super big on your face. Sometimes I find bronzer brushes, they're not like the exact shape I want. They're a little too large usually. This one is a good size for bronzer for sure. Let's move on to blush. So this is the Mini Dream Glow Blush. I was really excited about this when I saw the color because this is exactly the kind of tone that I love in a blush. It is very tiny though. When they say mini on this, they're not kidding. It's tiny. This is what it looks like. So this is it in the palm of, or in my hand. It's like, this is it next to the NYX powder. So it's pretty small. So just know that going in. But I mean, the colors, these two pinky rosy colors, and then this highlighter, I'll insert swatches of the three colors individually and then kind of mixed all together so you can see. I'm trying to decide if I want to mix them or if I want to do the blushes and then get my brush in the highlighter maybe. Maybe we'll do that. All right, I'm going to use the powder side of the N17 and I'm going to go into the blushes here. And I'm going to start kind of tapping this on. Perfect color, literally. I'm not sure I could have made a color I like any more than that. It's a beautiful rosy pink. This is kind of interesting for blush too. I don't typically use like a flat brush like this, but it applied it beautifully. Yeah, love the color. I don't know if I love powder blush with this, but I need to try it with other powder blushes. This is obviously a new product. So new brush, new product. You kind of don't know if you like it or not, but it applied beautifully. I just like something a little bit fluffier, I think, but it is kind of nice that you can really apply really precisely with this. Like you can kind of place the blush exactly where you want it. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but I'll keep playing with that and see what I think. But now what I want to do is I want to take the highlighter, but I think I'm going to use the only other brush we haven't used. This is the N14, and I think maybe this is the multitasker. Yeah, the Petite Precision Multitasker. So I think it's a great size for under your eyes, so you could probably use this for setting powder maybe, but I am going to use it for the highlighter here because it also looks like it might be a good highlighter brush. This is just a very nice, like, kind of a typical highlighter shade. Champagne, slightly golden, but it's nice for sure. Next time I would love to mix all the colors together and kind of see. But yeah, the highlighter is really pretty. That blush I absolutely love. I mean, it's very subtle. It's not super intense in your face pigmented blush, but I love it. And the color, so pretty. I love that. All right, we're gonna go back to the lower lash line now. I'm gonna take that first shade that we used with the N12 from Nikki. So this is the brush I used on my lid earlier for this kind of bronzy taupey shade. But they do call this a smudger brush, so I will probably use it the most for like the lower lash line like this, or you could use it to like smudge out eyeliner maybe. You'll know me, I don't do a ton on my lower lash line. I'm going to take a little bit of that bronzy color, like just a little bit, and apply in the outer, kind of outer third of my lower lash line. And I think that is it for shadow. I am going to take my Victoria Beckham liner in Cocoa and add this to my waterline. I can't seem to stop using this liner now. Now that I have it, I want to use it all the time. For mascara, I'm going to use the Victoria Beckham Future Lash. I haven't had this one for that long. I'm still kind of testing it out. Now for lips, I'm just going to line with Charlotte Tilbury Love Trap. And then I do have this. This is new to me, so I figured we could try it. This is the Sephora Soft, Matte, and Easy lipstick. I guess it's a liquid lipstick. And this one is in the shade Laid Back. And it looks like it might be a good color for this blush. Oh yeah, it's similar. Oh, it's like liquidy, like extremely liquidy, like a lip gloss, like even thinner than a lip gloss. That's weird. It's like watery. Huh. Okay, let's see if this kind of dries down, because I don't love the way it feels when it's going on. Okay, wow, it actually did set down to a matte finish, but it doesn't feel heavy or dry feeling on my lips, which I hate. Not typically a liquid lip person, but ooh, I love the color on that. The only thing, it has a very not great smell. It smells kind of like, yeah, the smell is not good. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a fruity, but like not, kind of a mix of fruit and powder, like a grandma powdery smell. It's not a good smell. Yeah, I don't love that, but that's really nice on my lips. Man, why does it have to smell like that? It does not smell good at all, but very pretty. Very, very pretty. I love the color. All right, you guys, this is the finished look. What do you think? Let's kind of go through. We didn't try too many new things, but we'll just kind of go through the things that we did try quickly. So far, so good with this Rare Beauty Brow Gel. My brows definitely feel set, but they don't feel super goopy and like crunchy, which I really like. So far, so good with this. I'll have to see if they stay all day, my brows stay in place, but so far, so good with this from Rare Beauty. Okay, the eyeshadow palette. I kind of guessed I was gonna love this, and I was right. I love this. Yes, it's neutral. It's, some might say, a little bit boring. I don't think it's boring at all. I think, like I said, I think this is the one of all her minis. This is the one I like the most by far. And the quality, still very good. Even though it's a mini, it's impeccable. I mean, every shade that I used applied effortlessly. So I think this is a great buy. If you think you would use this color story, I think this is a 10 out of 10 for sure. I had no issue with any of the shades. I mean, this is a neutral lover's dream, truly. The name is appropriate, little palette. I can definitely see myself getting a lot of use out of this. Very, very happy with this purchase. Do I have those colors in other palettes? Of course. It's a neutral palette, but I don't have this exact color story, this exact quality in a little mini palette like this. So I'm very happy with this purchase. If you like the colors, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. The blush, I'm pleasantly surprised by the blush. I thought I would like it because I love the color, but it's actually even prettier in person than I thought. I love how subtle and just pretty it is on my skin. I feel like this is also a shade that would work well with a lot of different eye looks. It's kind of neutral, so I love it. I am very happy that I bought it. It is very tiny though, just keep that in mind. If you're thinking you're gonna get like the full size mini or dream face palette that she has, I think that has highlighter and 2 blushes maybe. This is much, much smaller than that, so just keep that in mind. I don't know if you have like a medium deep skin tone. I'm not sure how this would show up on you. If you've tried it and you have a deeper skin tone than me, please let us know in the comments. But selfishly, for my skin tone, I really like it. I'm very happy with it. So let's see, did we try anything else? Oh, the lip, I like the way it looks, but the smell is not good. So if you end up buying one of these, just warning you, the smell is not good. I don't know how to describe it other than it doesn't smell good, but it's like very thin feeling on my lips. I like how it looks. I just don't like the smell. And the Nikki brushes. Let me pull them all out here. These are amazing quality, as I would expect from BK Beauty. If you watch my videos, you know I love BK Beauty brushes. I use them daily. In fact, they're my most used brushes for sure. Overall, I enjoyed these brushes. They are definitely a little bit more unique in terms of the shapes and how you would use them and what you would use them for, which I think was the intention behind these. Nikki is an artist, so artists, you know, have different ways of using things and creating things, so it makes perfect sense that she would come out with brushes that are different, not what you typically see. I think my favorites are the concealer brush. I really liked this for under my eyes. I can't wait to continue using this. Maybe try it for Corrector. This blending brush, great. It's a perfect medium blending brush. I think anybody could use this brush. I really like that one. And then I think my other favorite is probably this one, which this is the N15 I used for powder bronzer and setting powder. But I can also see myself getting use out of this little mini N14 that I used for highlighter today. So I'll have to keep playing with them. I do think this is probably not going to be my go-to for foundation. I know a lot of people use this for foundation. I personally love my 106. Y'all know this is like my absolute favorite. I prefer something a little bit more dense for foundation. I don't know, this is just a totally different feel for applying a foundation or a skin tint. So just know that going in, it's not dense at all. It's more, it just feels different. It applies things differently, but it did apply this foundation beautifully. I think this would be great for primer, actually, like I used it today. And then I did use this side for the powder blush. Again, I typically prefer something more like this that's kind of fluffy for powder blush, but what I will say about this is, I think I said it in the earlier clip, you can really kind of target the blush with this shape and kind of pinpoint it exactly where you want it, and it did apply the blush beautifully. So just keep that in mind. Brushes are very much, makeup in general, brushes though, very much personal preference. Everybody likes something different. This brush is definitely not my favorite. It's a little too chunky for me for liner. The only thing I could see myself using this for is what I did today, which is to kind of stamp a darker shadow along my lash line, but then switch to my favorite 208 brush for the wing. That's just a personal preference thing. I think if you're someone that has really small eyes or more hooded eyes, you might find this brush a little bit difficult to use. And for me, it's a little bit large for like a brow brush too. So I don't know how much use I will get out of this one, but again, it's just personal preference. If you're someone that has a lot of lid space, you would probably love this because it's just a larger angled brush. So if you don't have a lot of lid space here, it's just a little bit big. So just keep that in mind. And I like something a little bit more precise for wings. And then this smudger is really nice. I think, again, great for under or for your lower lash line or smudging out eyeliner. It's a great size for that. So these brushes are great quality. I will definitely continue playing around with them and using them for different things just to kind of see what I like to use them for. I think that's everything for today. I will have everything that I used listed and linked below for you. I do use affiliate links that do support my channel, so thank you so much if you do shop through them. Thank you for being here. I hope you'll subscribe if you have not already, and go follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1, and I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.